I still remember the look in their eyes, the mixture of disbelief, disdain, and outright mockery when I announced I was going to leave my secure, soul-sucking job and pursue my dream of becoming a game developer. They called it a ridiculous obsession, said I was throwing my life away on a childish fantasy. My parents, my siblings, everyone in that damn house, they laughed at me. They told me I was embarrassing the family. I was just 25 then, naive enough to believe I could prove them wrong. But their words sank deep, like poison. I felt the weight of their judgment every day, like a heavy shroud smothering my resolve. Still, I packed my bags, moved across the country, and poured everything I had into learning code, designing worlds, building something that felt like my own salvation. The first years were hell. I scraped by on freelance gigs, living on ramen and broken dreams. Nights blurred into mornings as I stayed up coding, frustrated, battered by rejection emails, my confidence battered too. My family's words echoed in my mind. You'll fail. You're wasting your life. You're an embarrassment. But I kept going. I threw everything I had into my passion. Self-doubt was a beast, but I tamed it with relentless work. I stayed up for days, ignoring the hunger, the exhaustion, the loneliness. I poured my soul into my projects, refusing to let their judgment define me. And then slowly, the tide turned. Small wins, a modest indie hit, recognition from some gaming communities, more projects, bigger opportunities. I became a recognized developer, earning awards, building a name. I was no longer the laughingstock. They were the ones who had doubted me. Years passed. I built my empire. I made millions. My games touched lives, inspired others to chase their dreams. I had everything I wanted, except one thing. I hadn't yet gone back. I hadn't faced them. Until tonight. I returned home unannounced. My success a silent, powerful declaration. The house hadn't changed much. Same peeling paint, same cluttered chaos. But I had. I was dressed sharply now, confident, unbreakable. I wanted them to see what I'd become, what they had tried to crush. They were in the living room, drinking, laughing, oblivious to my presence. As I stepped inside, silence fell. Their eyes widened, then narrowed, as if they couldn't believe it. Is that you? My mother whispered, voice trembling. I nodded slowly, a cold smile curling my lips. It's me. My father looked at me, eyes darting, trying to find the boy he remembered, and failing. You've come back? Yes, I said softly. I've come back to show you what your doubts almost destroyed. I turned to the corner of the room, where a large screen still sat, collecting dust. I powered it on, and in the glow of the monitor, my latest game streamed across the screen, an epic, beautifully crafted world, vibrant and alive. Their faces fell. Is that your work? My sister asked, voice barely a whisper. I nodded again. It is. Every line of code, every pixel, my blood, my tears. I built this from nothing while you told me I was wasting my life. I stepped closer, voice thick with emotion. Look at me now. I'm standing here, not just as a failure you mocked, but as proof that dreams don't die. They only wait for the brave to chase them, to fight for them, to prove everyone wrong. My mother's eyes welled with tears. My father looked away, ashamed, perhaps realizing how cruel they'd been, how wrong. And then I finally spoke the words I'd held back for so long. All those years of ridicule, of dismissing me, I used that fire to forge my path. I proved that I am more than your expectations. I am more than your judgments. I am a survivor. The room was silent, save for the faint hum of the computer. I took a step back, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. I had returned not just to show them my success, but to reclaim my dignity on my terms, in my time. As I turned to leave, my father called out softly, "We were wrong. We never saw your passion. We were blind. I paused, then looked back at them. It's not about forgiveness. It's about knowing I never needed your approval to become who I was meant to be. But I wanted you to see what I've achieved, what perseverance can create when you refuse to give up. I walked out that door knowing I had finally confronted the ghosts of doubt, the shame of rejection, and I had come out victorious. I may have been mocked, dismissed, and underestimated, but I proved that no one can define your destiny but yourself. And that, in the end, is the greatest victory of all.